One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
Hey, man.
What?
Have you ever listened to Pink Floyd?
Out of a mushroom?
That you got from Electric Fish Lights.
Shit, we have.
Check it out, you guys. Go to electricfishlights.com or at electricfishlights on Instagram. Here's what's going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see these amazing lights, and you're going to be like, how do they build those lights? Well, I'm here to tell you it's with a thing called IQ technology. It's a system made of 30 interlocking pieces that can be configured into 15 different shapes. And when you add more pieces, the shapes are endless. You design it, they build it. Choose your shape, size, and color, and all lamps come fully assembled and are ready to be plugged in when they get to your house, man. All these lights are made from upcycled vinyl, so you can feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. It's like milk jug plastic, but even better. It's colorful, and it spits out color all over your room. Make sure, if you've been sitting at home during quarantine thinking, I need to paint the house. You don't need to paint the house. You don't need to paint your room. Go to Electric Fish Lights. Buy a light with the color changing upgrade, and when you turn that light on, that room can be any color you want it to be. So it's that simple.
And they are dope. I have 2 in my room, and they are on all the time.
Mine, like for my spa yesterday, I rearranged it. His name is Bruno, my little sloth.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
Yeah.
The ambiance, the sound, the color, it's beautiful, especially like if you have like this like spa music and you put it to set with the music, then it kind of has a nice
it has
little,
that like flowy,
yeah,
pulsy. And if you're sitting there
vibe.
going, I don't want to get a light because I don't know how to hang it and I'm gonna have to buy an extension cord. No, you're not, because when it gets there, they have a kit that you can hang the light with included. And all of them come with a 12-foot cord, a 12-year energy efficient, safe to leave on LED light bulb, and like I said, a hardware kit to hang the light. So these can be used outdoors, indoors, updoors, downdoors, in your basement. I think you could probably even plug it into the cigarette lighter in your car and light up your car if you wanted to, if you have one of those little inverter things in there like I have in my car.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
You could. And when you check out, put in the promo code NSR at checkout. You're going to get 10% off. And any NSR family member that orders a light with the color changing upgrade is going to receive a limited edition special promotional No Simple Road print that manifested out of my vomity art mind and his hand feet things.
And if you don't get the upgrade, you're going to be disappointed.
You can even upgrade with...
I don't know.
Wait, you can get the color changing upgrade, and you can get the color changing upgrade that has a Bluetooth speaker in it so that you can do what Mel was talking about. What were you going to say, Mel?
That was it.
That was it.
That pretty much covered everything.
Also, remember that you guys leave this out because you're not a sports fanatic. They have your sports teams covered. Go look at their website on Instagram. You will see, if you're a sports person, you're going to want one of these. They're bitching.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically any character, sports team thing you can imagine, if you can think about it, they can probably put it together. So hit them up at Electric Fish Lights on Instagram or electricfishlights.com. Put in the promo code NSR. Get 10% off. Get your color changing upgrade. Get yourself a poster. You'll be happy. You don't have to paint your room. You can drive around. It'll be flashy, flashy. Electric Fish Lights.
You light up my life.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongSummerCamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
Important lesson to learn in life: to not listen to Apple.
To not listen to me.
Yeah.
Hey, you better listen to Santa.
Yeah, well, yeah. Does Santa listen to you? He knows when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake.
I can't
I
talk.
don't think Santa takes his orders from you.
Hey, no.
I mean, I don't know.
I can't talk much about what Santa does. Okay,
We're
Be
in the
good.
midst of a Santa discussion here. Welcome back to No Simple Road this week.
Welcome, everybody.
This is Aaron.
This is Melanie.
And this is Apple.
I never introduced myself as Melanie, but I guess today.
You're Melanie.
But then they
today.
get the
Melanie
full
today.
scoop.
That's
Melanie.
right.
You know, that's it.
Harshmallow.
Before I get off on a tangent, our guest this week is the one and only
Matt Butler.
from Everyone Orchestra. You guys, I am super
Thank
stoked to
you
bring this
for
to
coming
you.
to the show, Matt, and to the No Simple Road Porch.
Yeah, this was an actual on the porch, not in the studio interview. We did the 6 feet social distanced
Yes, we
interview
did.
here at the No Simple Road compound, and it was an absolute honor to have Matt over
Yes,
here at the
it
house
was.
and hang out and have some coffee and get to talk about his journey and everything that's going on with everyone.
It was an incredible conversation.
Everyone Orchestra. Yeah, it was really beautiful outside that day.
Mm-hmm.
A little chilly, sun was shining, birds were singing.
Yep, coffee.
And Matt is just an extraordinary person.
Yes, he is.
He's one of those guys when you listen to everything he's doing and planning, and it's like, wow.
So
he's does a lot.
One of the highlights of this interview was this was before the election, and Matt was telling us that he was doing an Everyone Orchestra show completely off the cuff like EO does on election night to the election results. So after you listen to this show, go find that on YouTube and check it out, because it was absolutely amazing. And watching him conduct live to the election results was super fascinating. And that's how this whole interview came about. Was we had never seen Everyone Orchestra live. No. And in March, Pigeons Playing Ping Pong played, wow, that's hard to say, here in Portland. Pigeons Playing Ping Pong played here in Portland. And Matt came out on stage, I think it was at the beginning of the second set, and I was super high, and it was a life-changing experience for me. And once I saw that, I was like, we need to get in touch with Matt. I found out he lived here in Portland, and actually we made it work out. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear Matt Butler on No Simple Road on the Porch, man. But what I was going to say before we went off on that tangent was, you introduced yourself as Melanie, right?
Yeah.
And like, Apple is Apple, but his name is James.
It's James, and I go by Jimmy.
And Jim.
And Jim.
And you're Mel and Mellow. Do you think that people that have multiple names like that, right? Not just a nickname, but like multiple names like that. Do you see each name as a different aspect of the personality of that person?
I do when it comes to my name.
Do you?
James is something that my mom and dad would call me, or grandma and grandpa, when I was in trouble. Like, it's one of those, like, if you hear your full name, James. But then again, it's weird with me because my family's never called me Apple, because that's our last name. Even to this day, my dad thinks it's weird, kind of, that everybody calls me Apple, because he usually calls me Jimmy. And so does my mom. When I'm not in trouble, and I prefer Jimmy. I don't like Jim or James.
J-I-M-I.
But not many people call me that. Most of the people I work with don't even know my first name.
Are you serious?
Yeah. My tag says Apple. My name's Apple. They know that's my last name, and nobody usually even asks what my first name is.
Whoa.
And I don't respond to it most of the time. You could stand there and be going, James. I just be like, do.
I know that you have another personality. His name is Jimmy Mike. And that's your crabby dick side.
That's the bratty little, like, 4-year-old.
Yeah. I don't want him.
It's the same as Apple. Like, when I hear Mellow, that usually takes me back to somebody from my family, because that's how I always was, Mellow. But then Mel is kind of like more Portlandy to me.
Is it?
I feel like nobody really called me Mel in Vegas.
No,
it was always Mel. I always called
Mellow.
you Mellow. That's true. Until we came
Mellow.
up here, then it became Mel.
Yeah, and Melanie is usually for work. Like
Melanie.
So I feel like it's more of a professional, or like a school setting, or
I feel formal.
Or if I was in a, like a workshop or something like that. Because I'm not going to bother to be like, my name's Melanie, but I go by Mel or Mel. Like, I don't care about that. So if I'm in a formal setting, it's usually Melanie. And so that's why I was like, when I said Melanie, it threw me off, because like that's usually a formal setting for me when I say that name. It's not like to my friends.
I was always like, when I was a kid, I was always jealous of people that had nicknames.
I was going to say, you don't have it. It's Aaron.
Some people are just them.
Or AA Ron.
No, don't call me that.
Well, even my mom that gives everybody a nickname does not have a nickname for you, except for my favorite son-in-law. That's the only other nickname. Otherwise is, where's Aaron?
Which Aaron's like, I'm your only son-in-law.
No, I'm not anymore.
No?
No, her sister's married.
Well, not married, but married. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're not married.
I didn't get invited.
Nobody did. Nobody did. It didn't happen.
All right.
You know what I mean. Yeah, I always was jealous of people that had nicknames when I was a kid. And I always wanted to give myself one, but you don't do that.
You can't do that.
You're A-team.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not that.
That's what Jay calls me.
No.
Also, the only one I ever remember having was Pigeon. Other than a couple other ones I won't mention from when we were a kid, because you'll slap me.
Yeah, I'll hit you. No, okay, yeah, Pigeon, but that didn't stick.
And you can't pick your own nickname. That reminds me of Seinfeld.
Conductor.
when George Costanza, he's like, I want everybody to call me T-Bone. And they're like, no. And they ended up calling him like Pudgy or something. And like ruined his whole thing. Call me T-Bone.
I don't think that you can really, like, of course you can make your own nickname, but sometimes I feel like it just kind of emerges from you.
The conductor is not a nickname, that's a title.
Yeah, that's a title.
That's true.
It's a moniker title, like boom.
That's true.
Yeah.
With your name, babe, you don't need one.
Aaron has 2 A's, so it's already got 2. So
Yeah.
you're good to go.
It's special all on its own.
Yeah, man, I feel left out. I'm gonna give myself a nickname. Call me
No,
T-Bone.
you can't. Okay, so here we go. If anybody out there that's a listener has a nickname,
No, don't. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just joking. It's just a weird thing. I've always thought that to myself. Like, it seems to me the people that I know that have more than one name also have a personality to match that other thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's cool.
Yeah,
I don't get that outlet. Yeah, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
well, it's because you're so even keel and the same all the time.
Oh yeah, that's me, Mr.
Oh.
Mr. Even Keeled, and
Well, like
We have alter egos,
I just
babe.
gotta go back to it too because I know I never said that in my life until Key and Pill, the AA Ron.
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't a thing.
That wasn't
until
really
that.
a thing. AA Ron.
And okay, so that thing came out every single time somebody says my name when they meet me. They say that.
Okay, yeah, that would be slightly
Oh,
annoying.
Aaron, what's up?
you never heard that one.
Oh, it's funny. Cool. Yeah. Do nice.
Let it be. It's fine. It's cute.
It's okay. It's whatever.
It's cute.
So, Apple,
Yeah.
you start this week, man.
Start what?
Start this week.
Therapy
Gonna
session.
be starting
something. Gonna
Got to
be
be
starting
Please don't
something.
sing.
How to get over.
Whatever, dude. Why is he always
I'm
got to
sorry,
ruin our
guys.
karaoke time?
Oh, I like
Mel.
it too.
How was your week, Apple?
Because he doesn't have a nickname.
My, he's gonna be mean to us.
I'm leaving.
We'll come up with a nickname. My week was good. My week since last week, went and did the Santa thing for Jake and Bren and the family, which was super fun. It was the first time I put on the Santa suit. And Mel just mentioned earlier when we were firing up the mics and getting on. I'm Santa Claus. Once I put that on, I'm a different person. It's a trip.
It's weird to look at those pictures. I
It's
don't
weird
see
for me.
you at all.
I don't either.
see Apple in there at all. I'm just like, holy shit, that's Santa. And like, we joke about it because it's funny and blah, blah, blah. But you really embody that persona when you
And
when
when
you
it
those
changes
glasses.
the way I take
Yeah.
it. The first year I did it, I didn't take it, but it's kind of like it's a serious thing.
Yeah,
You
it
got to
really
be
is.
jolly and everything, but I put it on so I got in the spirit on Saturday. That was super fun because I was kind of last week I talked about being kind of down lately and stuff, but that's changed. We talked about me and Aaron's beef and all this stuff, so I've been doing really good. I've kind of changed it around. I did something I needed to do for the last 4.5 years this weekend, as you guys know. I tore my room completely apart. I took down, and I got a ton of shit. I took down every picture, every collectible, like everything. I took it down, moved my room around, and it's going to take me a few weeks to get back to where I want my special things up, but not all the clutter. I mean, we all love music, but I had like Smashing Pumpkins poster from '94 and stuff like that meant stuff to me. It still does, but it's not me anymore. So I'm updating my room, changing it around. It's gonna be bitching. That made me feel really good. It was kind of like a cleanse.
It was an outward expression of something that happened inside of you.
Yeah, and then that kind of
yeah.
steamrolled because then Simon did his room, reorganized. He was all stoked about that. Aaron and Melanie did the basement the other day, which
Yeah, Aaron didn't do anything.
I didn't do shit.
He sat up here and worked.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
did
I
it,
thought
yeah.
Melanie.
Oh, when you guys showed me, you did it
No.
together. Like, look what we did.
Well, Aaron
I
just
thought.
happened to be downstairs. I was showing him too.
Yeah, I was riding her coattails, dude.
All right, hon. Well, good job because there's some heavy lifting down there. So, but we've kind of the house has had kind of a cleansing, rearranging.
Yeah.
We're heading further in the holidays. Tomorrow at work, we're doing the Secret Santa potluck thing. I've had a few more requests to go do some Santa visits next week. I am enjoying it. It's nice.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah. And other than that, that's kind of it. I'm just kind of
That's really
gotten in the
cool.
spirit and everything, and the house just has continued to get cute. Aaron is just baking. I'll let Aaron tell you about that, but Aaron made the most bomb stuff this week. It's a good thing that treadmill's coming because I need to exercise. Too.
Yeah,
He's been baking the shit out of stuff. And so I came up, it's so hard. It's like you hear, I'm laying in my room, like falling asleep on the couch, and it's like, come eat me. There's some more pastry left. I come up, and I've already brushed my teeth. So I come up, I got to have some milk, more pastry, and then I got to brush my teeth again. And,
go to
but
bed
it was
with
worth
that
it.
now.
And so, who's next? Aaron?
Yeah.
I'll go. So I realized that baking has become a stress response in quarantine for me. I didn't realize that when I started doing it. It's something I do to fight off.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, it's
Somewhere to put your energy.
a defense
You
mechanism.
were so happy, and when you're baking and got the apron on, and Mel got you that bitchin' apron now too. It's like it's cool walking in and seeing Aaron doing that. He is a baker.
But
Yeah.
I didn't realize that that's what it was for me. I just, as somebody that's a creative, I sometimes exhaust my creativity with the outlets that I like.
Yeah.
Like with the show,
Yeah.
I've done what I need to do, or like I've drawn for 6 hours that day. I've played my guitar that day, and I'm like, there's nothing.
What am I going to do now?
To do well, not even what am I going to do now? Just like I'm exhausted in those other things, and I have energy and also, I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum over the quarantine. Like being home is a thing. It's tough, and so I didn't realize that baking was that until this last weekend and the round I made. It started with a couple loaves of sourdough bread. I'm trying to perfect the art of sourdough. And if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, it's a freaking art for real. Humphrey McCheese on Instagram. Thank you for getting me started on this journey.
Yes,
man.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Shout out Humphrey McCheese.
You hooked me up with a 100-year-old sourdough starter, and off to the races I went. And it has started a journey. But
some of the best bread I've ever tasted, to be honest, like for real. And
So
you
I-
haven't even started adding rosemary
I haven't
or
done any of that
nothing.
shit. I've been
Like
keeping
it's
it
just
simple.
plain. It's
And it gets better with each loaf.
so
oh yeah.
as I was doing it, I was realizing it was making me feel better, and I didn't realize that I was feeling bad before I started until I started feeling better while I was doing it. And I was like, oh shit, I was depressed and angry, and like this is making me feel better. And then that snowballed. I was like, you know what? I really want Danishes, cheese Danishes, and I was going to go buy them. And I was like, wait a minute. I just baked sourdough bread. I think I could bake cheese Danishes. And holy shit, dude. They came out.
Cheese and cherry Danishes.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Mel can't have
Dairy.
dairy right now, so I hooked up.
I can't have dairy ever, really.
Well, I like the way he did it.
I like how you hold out hope, though.
There were some cheese ones, there were some cherry ones, and there were some like half and half ones, or 2/3 and a third. There was like a mix of everything.
So yeah, for you guys out there, man, if you're one of those people we're all people, and we're all struggling with this shit right now. So a little piece of advice is, we're not all bakers, but we all know how to do something.
Else.
Yeah, other than watch TV or listen to music. So find out what that thing is, because I was telling Cody yesterday, if we equate quarantine to a psychedelic journey, that we are in the part of the trip at this point where I've decided I'm never coming down. Where I'm like, I'm just high forever now.
I'm stuck here.
I'm stuck here. Nobody's ever going to understand what I say. I'm going to be that guy naked on Burnside, pulling his dick, screaming at the sky. And that's
my
where,
buddy?
that's where we're at. And so you got to find an outlet at this point, because shit's weird. That's all I have to say about that. And so find something to put your energy into other than the stuff that has been traditionally getting you by. If you find some new stuff, it's going to really help out. It changed my whole attitude, just baking bread. And it had nothing to do with the bread. It was just the act of
doing something. Well, there's something about doing something with your hands too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like creating something with your hands. And with food, the best thing to me always is when the reaction of people, when people are like, oh my God, this is so good. And you're like,
proud.
Yeah. But you're always your own worst critic too. We all are when
I
it
would
comes
have
to
done
cooking.
this.
Yeah, everybody's like, this is the best ever. And it's like,
It could have had better oven spring. That crumb isn't very open. I don't know. Look at the ear.
There is a lot of like terminology and shit that goes into making what simple bread.
Oh,
It's 3 ingredients, dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like watching you toil over it and getting it more perfected. There's a lot that goes into it. It's how you handle it,
dude.
And treat it.
It's science. I'm not going to bore. Okay, welcome to the Making Sourdough
That'll be another
podcast.
episode, the 4.5-hour episode of making
They
bread.
teach you how to auto leash your dough.
They dig it.
Anyway,
My dad would listen.
yeah, you would. So it's been a roller coaster week. The show is doing really great, and I'm thrilled, and it's amazing. We actually, I am remiss. I don't think we did the business last week, and if we did, I don't remember doing it. And we have
to.
Well, I'll wait. Mel, how was your week? I'm gonna wait because it's the whole thing.
You just literally cut yourself
I
off.
cut myself off. I thought better of what I was about to do.
Let's finish our show. We don't gotta.
We are. Go ahead.
Finish your week. You didn't finish.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Oh.
I finished my week. It's been a roller coaster week, and here we are. The show's doing great.
And
scene.
And how was your week, Mel?
My week was good. This is the transition back to 4-day work week. So I've had an inherently better attitude about work and waking up in the morning, even though I didn't really have a bad attitude. It's just, I'm more excited, and cleaning and redoing the basement really just made the air in there just fresh, and it helped me to organize all my toys in one spot that makes sense, all my tarot decks together and all my Reiki books together and all my stuff that I could use like when I'm with somebody or like grab as a reference. It's like all right there. It dusted, smelled good, windows clean. There's a lot to say. It's kind of like with the bread. I didn't know that I needed that until I was done, and I was like, oh, what a relief.
It's a trip to see all of us. Like I was telling you guys last week on the show, me being home all the time, like I'm the one that holds space in the house all the time. And then seeing how your guys' presence in the house affects the energy in the house is such a trip. And then seeing you take your space and rearrange it, both of you guys.
Yeah.
And then what it did emotionally for the both of you was like, whoa.
I was just in a fucking good mood.
Both of you guys were. I was like, this is great.
That night when I came on, you were like, come check out the base. You were the same as me.
Yeah.
I was so like elated and happy, but exhausted. It was like a cleansing, like, I just crap my brains.
Well,
like, oh, I feel so good. I
like
want to go lay on my spot.
Traditionally on my days off, I would fill them with appointments and meeting friends and all that stuff, pre-COVID. And so it clearly hasn't been like that for a long time. And so
why?
Just I'll talk about that later.
What happened?
But so I've had to learn different ways to exhaust my energy because I am a very energetic person, and if I don't use my creative forces and energy by raking leaves or by moving the couch and sweeping and whatever, then I start getting into my little funk or depression. And I was feeling funky about my practice because I can't practice on anybody. And I like, you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. And I know that's not true, but I was just feeling like I needed more stimulation and more movement. And once I got that, and I just looked around at my things and I was like, yeah, you do have everything that you need. Yeah. Like just, when you take inventory and you're like, oh shit, I don't need to buy a new bat. I've got 3 of them. I don't, you know what I mean? That feels good. Like you realize like, I don't need for shit. I just need to be a little bit more organized. I just need to be a little bit more caring. A little bit more diligent.
Well, it's cool. I noticed looking down in there yesterday. It's cool because Mel of anybody in the house, you have as much tchotchke stuff as I have. Decorations, little things, little keepsake. It's cool to reorganize your stuff because you change. Yes. And I noticed how you had changed everything when all your stuff is organized one way on a shelf for a year or more. That's the old you that kind of put it there. And I noticed that you moved Jasper's, like pictures got moved around and it freshens everything up. It's like new.
Well, we are evolving consciousness constantly. I mean, I am not the same dude that lived in Vegas 4.5 years ago at all.
Oh, no.
Not even close. And so keeping your space the same, like the way I think about it is, when I moved up here, I liked a certain set of things. And some of those certain set of things were my fucking favorites at the time. But it's 4.5 fucking years later, man. Yeah. And my favorites have changed. I still like those things, but my favorites have changed.
Yeah, and you like to have your favorites out.
Yeah. And so
also too, like you personally evolve, not just like your taste, but like you're growing into something different.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not about like, I don't like that flavor anymore or I don't like those jeans. It's like you are a transformation.
Yeah.
So it doesn't apply. It's like you were saying about Smashing Pumpkins, like that time, 94, they were fucking fantastic. And they don't exist right now. Like, so it's a cool moment in time, but right now we're in a totally different.
Yeah, it's like hanging your high school graduation poster over your bed. Picture over your bed.
It's cool. It happened, but it doesn't have the same sting.
Well, and I had a hard time taking it down because just to clarify, it's not like a picture of the band or something. This is a special Bill Graham's production limited poster that got signed from all of them in '94 at Lollapalooza. But I've changed. So now it's, other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty dope.
And
though.
it's cool to see, like, it was both of you seeing that you guys did that was a reminder for me that our outside space is a reflection of our inner world. And like clutter and piles of shit and left forgotten things are all echoes of piles of shit, left forgotten things on the inside of my head.
Ugh.
Yeah,
our head.
Well, and reminders
and your
of
heart.
There was like flashing back to that time that I'm not that person anymore, and to have that constant reminder. I mean, I was still a good person and I enjoyed life, but I was funky. I was different back then, and I realized that when I took it all down, like as a clean slate, like erasing that whiteboard, and starting fresh, and like, what do I want to create now? And I'm having a hard time with that at the moment. Like this weekend, I haven't hung anything back up. Mm-hmm. I haven't put anything back up yet because I'm kind of marinating on it. And I'm going to put all my favorites and different things up. That's me now.
Yeah,
that's really cool, man. And that is one really positive part of being forced to be introspective and home is finding that kind of shit out.
Yeah,
like, oh wow, I'm different. When you're moving all the time and doing and going and your evolution, you're not paying attention. I'm not paying attention to my evolution when I'm doing that. It's just happening. Yeah. And then what tells me that I've changed is me looking back and going, oh, I'm not doing that anymore.
Perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's more up to the minute. And like, confronted with myself on the reg because nobody's home. I don't know where to go. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but
I call you on my break.
You do. Yeah, dude.
I do everything.
Darwin
I
hangs
rush
out
home.
with me and farts in here all day. It's
Every
awesome.
time I try to communicate with him, he's too busy. No.
Listen,
Like, dude, I'm home working. I work while I'm home.
sometimes I do. Yep. But yeah,
I'm just kidding. It's like twice.
it's really cool to see the evolution of the house and
Yeah, because the room we're sitting in happened during pandemic. This room looked completely
this was a
different.
bedroom.
This room was a bedroom. Then it was like an empty room that nobody. Like,
That was like you.
Yeah, when Simon moved downstairs, and it was
Yeah.
just like, what are we going to do with that fucking room?
The fart room.
Yeah, and then now it's this gorgeous, thriving room with plants and your artwork and my artwork and our fans' artwork and like this is a beautiful space. Like, look, nobody likes 2020, but it still has given us a lot of beautiful things. And that's what I'm going to focus on because getting through this shit's going to be tough.
We're doing it. We're getting through it. We're in the middle of getting through it. If you guys out there are hearing my voice vibrating in your eardrum right now,
You know what I mean?
you are getting through it.
One week
And
it's good, one week
I
it's
know.
not. That's what I mean.
there's
That's what I
definitely
mean.
the ups
But
and
hey, man,
downs.
there's a
But we did it.
there's a point when you need to hear that though.
Oh, sure.
Like, hey, you're doing it. You're making it. It's okay. We're doing this together. Like we're gonna get there, and we are. I don't pretend to know anything about anything, but I do know that we will get through this, and everything's gonna be okay. And I also know that I got a new chair today for this studio, and Darwin can't stand the reconfiguration of the room. He has not laid down almost the entire time we've been recording.
He doesn't like the two chairs in here.
No, he
It's not the
doesn't have
old- we
adequate
gotta get
space
this old
to
one
lay
out.
down.
He was just standing, staring at me with his head laying on the table, just staring at me like, could you please move one of these fucking chairs, man?
Shoes are in the
And-
way.
and now
There's
he
two
went-
chairs.
And now he walked over and laid by the door, facing away from us, like a kid would do. Like fuck you,
Fine
then.
then. Anyway,
Oh my
welcome to
gosh.
Darwin's world. Anyhow, you guys, listen, here's the thing. We love you. And
Yes.
I know we talk about like our week every week, and that's just to like let you into the world of our house a little bit, because we are all disconnected from each other in a weird, distant sort of a way. And if we can let you in here and we can all be together like this is a way that we can all stay connected through the energy of my voice and Mel's voice and Apple's voice hitting you guys. And then you think about us, and then there's this great confluence in the ether, and this energetic thing happens. It's not just random babbling, man. It's to keep us all connected and to make sure that when we do come through this, that we're still smiling and happy and our hearts feel good. So yeah, I just wanted to remind you guys of that. Anyway, let's do the business. You want to do the business?
Sure.
The business.
So here's what I was going to say earlier when I was in the midst of my ramble and cut myself off. We have a new $20 patron.
What?
Yeah.
What? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Daniel E. I want to say thank you, brother. You have been extremely supportive of us
I am.
for a very long time on Instagram. I didn't even know if you actually listened to the show. Several people that follow us on Instagram, some people don't even know that this is a podcast, which is weird, but
Yeah, you've said that they know us on Instagram.
yeah, they
and
think
love
it's just
what-
an
what-
Instagram page.
Yeah.
But Daniel, you have been super supportive on Instagram, and don't think I haven't noticed. I have noticed. And
Wow.
$20 patron, that dude,
That's
that's heavy shit right there, man.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
fuck. Thank you, brother, especially right now. Thank you,
I
man.
know.
That is like I was flying down the freeway at 60 miles an hour, and I saw that email come in, and I pulled the e-brake and pulled over and was like, whoa. That shit happened. Whoa. So yeah, Mel owes Daniel a collage, and
Yeah.
I owe you some stickers and other things.
We're going to hook it up, Daniel.
Yeah. So Daniel E, we say your name. And if
Daniel Yee.
you out there want to get involved monetarily with the No Simple Road family, you listen every week, you get something out of this, you like listening to the interviews, you think it's fun, whatever the thing is, you can give as little as $1 a month on Patreon. And that is how
you can give as much as $1 million.
Yeah. And that's how we keep this thing going, man. Patreon.com/No Simple Road. Go check it out. There's a link on www.nosimpleroad.com that you can sign up through there. You can also, when you go to www.nosimpleroad.com, you can go to the merch tab up at the top. Last minute Christmas gifts for those people that listen to the show.
Hook up on that merch.
Yeah, man. Sign up for the newsletter. You get little secret missives now and again. After the new year, we're going to be starting a book club with the Micadelic podcast. So stay tuned for more information on that. What else? 5-star reviews.
What about
5-star reviews?
There was no new ones.
No, there's no new ones right now, but we know more will come.
I would love it
Please
if
give them to us.
if a couple of you guys out there that have been on the fence of leaving a review on Apple Podcast for us before the end of the year, get at least 2 or 3 more in there. If you're like sitting there and thinking, "Oh, I'm going to do it later today," no.
Just do it.
Just stop and do it right now. Unless you're driving, then don't do it. But
if you're doing something dangerous,
but if you're like vacuuming or you're at work in your house and like me and there's no reason that you shouldn't be doing it right now, go to Apple Podcasts, hit the little search icon, search the name No Simple Road, hit our icon, scroll down, and you'll see reviews. And there's a little thing that you tap it with your thumb and it says leave a review, and you can leave a review. And then boom.
And if you're like me, you don't even have to type. You can just talk to your phone, have everybody make fun of you.
You really do talk to your phone a lot.
I do. Everybody out there will get that deal. Sometimes it's pointless because then you spend like a minute editing it because it doesn't do it right.
So
leave us those reviews.
I think that's an old guy
I would
thing.
love to be able to read a review before Christmas. I'll even do it as Santa
Leave
Claus.
us a Christmas review.
Shit. There it is. Who's it going to be out there? Leave us a Christmas review. So I got a compliment
the
today.
tepid line.
I got a compliment today I got to tell you about.
Yeah.
So we had our year-end lunch for our team, and it was the most wonderful backhanded compliment I've ever gotten in my whole life. It was from one of the people that I work with, and they were having a discussion when I wasn't around, talking about the personalities on the team, and they were discussing who's the oldest. And they're like, well, Aaron's the oldest. Like, he's almost 50. And one of the guys I work with was like, yeah, but you can't count that with Aaron because he's probably still like 18 in his heart. He acts like he's 18.
What's the backhanded part?
That kind of like, well, he's childish for a grown ass man.
You know what made me think of that is you saying you talk to your phone. I was thinking about old guys do stuff and them saying
do.
Yeah, I'm starting to talk to my phone too.
I also wanted to say thanks for everybody for viewing and liking my Santa dance.
That was awesome.
I wanted to say a special thank you to Laura for saying that I was the best Santa ever, that nobody compares. Thank you.
Aww.
And thank you for continuing to support us.
Yeah, man. We love you. And I think that's it, right? 5-star reviews.
The tepid line.
The
Throw
tepid
that number
line.
out there.
971-808-1524. That's 971-808-1524. And I think, if I remember correctly, there might be one on there from December 1st.
Okay, well, you're doing that real quick. We're going to be getting you the interview, but do yourselves a favor and go listen. You'll hear us talk about this with Matt Butler. His virtual sessions are amazing that he did through this, especially to me. Everybody should listen to this, but especially to me, women. The spirit of love that he does with all these female artists, it is amazing. I listen to it at least once a week because it's just so inspiring and so beautiful. You guys need to check him out. These are on YouTube. You can go to his website. We'll talk about all that here, but do yourself a favor and listen to this.
Here's one I got on the tepid line. Let's see if I could pull this off with just the phone without fucking it up.
Hey everybody, love and blessings. This is Danny calling. Talking about your podcast, which is superb and innovative in its own way, bringing us together with the lack and love of our most cherished live music. I've been a professional photographer for a long, long time, And, I find it very hard, one, not to have my live music, but also my love of live music and photography being combined in such a rich and romantic way. Since I was an early teenager, working on the road with several musicians on tour and such like that, I find it very hard and almost numbing to not have that. And I find that we are in a situation where, we're starting to recognize different things and kind of put our old loves to the side because we're not able to do them. And, I would love to talk to you guys about my love of photography and music and some of the stories that, I have from the road. I think it'd be a cool aspect
Absolutely.
of, the different side through the lens of, so to speak, of
Yes.
the way, musical photographers feel about music and about the current times and the lack of live shows and the scary scenario of losing some of our most cherished, beloved stages. Give me a call, 610.
Oh, hey, whoa. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Yeah,
really wanted to.
No, that's like one of those things. Call
Cha-cha-cha.
610.
Hold on.
What's your social security number?
No.
7.
Hey, we supposed to screen these.
I didn't screen that one.
Well, he said this is the first time he did it. He's like, well, let's see if I can.
Let
if I don't
me.
fuck
I got
this
one more. So that one came at the beginning of December, and I didn't see it. And so here's another one from November that I didn't see.
Whoa.
Yeah. So hey, check this out. Let's see if I could not fuck this up.
Hey there, No Simple Road. My name's Alan. I'm calling from British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah,
I just
BC.
wanted to say I really enjoy listening to your podcasts, especially the Heads Talking. It's kind of a solace for me during this weird time in the world. And, you guys are doing an awesome job. It would have been... I actually wanted to perhaps meet you guys maybe at the Northwest String Summit and or perhaps some other events in the Northwest. But, of course, who knows when anything is going to happen again. So, I wish you guys all the best. Keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great. And, Aaron, from one Jew to another, you're a real mensch.
Oh,
Fuck.
hell yeah! Right on,
Wow,
Alan.
man.
Right on, Alan. We will
That
meet
is
eventually.
freaking sweet
Wow.
on so many levels.
Mazel tov, man.
You're not too
Oh,
far away.
Alan.
BC. We keep talking about getting
Heck
up to
yeah.
BC. We hear how beautiful it is. I hear great things about that.
So that's
There's a lot. Well, there's a lot there.
Wow.
We just
there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. We just had two really incredible tepid line calls. And I'm sorry, what was the first guy's name? We need to get him on the show. Dan.
Yeah,
man. How
We
do you
need-
do that, Apple?
I just
pay
lost
attention.
it, you
No,
know.
I'm just kidding.
No, he does.
No, I don't ever.
You-
I don't know. I can't explain.
But anyway, we definitely need to have Dan. We're gonna contact
Yeah,
you.
Danny,
and
we'll hit you up.
wow, Alan, thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah, you just made my heart happy, man.
Yeah,
that
I
was cool.
saw it. If we had a camera, that would have been a really great movement.
And those are great. Everybody call into those. You don't even got to type or anything.
Yeah.
You could just be, you could do that anywhere, just talking on your phone, and then we get to hear your voice.
But you want to know one thing that I love about Tangentially Speaking? It's a podcast that before he goes on, there's a bunch of people that will just call in and they're like in nature.
Oh yeah.
Or they're hiking, or they're on their boat, or whatever the hell, and and he plays them, and it's really cool to get to know your people. Like where are we? Where are you listening to us? What are you doing? Walking your dog? Blah blah blah. And
That
it's
is
just
cool.
kind of neat. So that's what the tepid line is for.
You brought up podcasts. I've been talking about it for weeks. You guys need to check out
Dead and Gone.
Buzz.
the
Grand Wazoo is hooked. He is totally hooked, man. He was texting me the other night about it, like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
This is the guy that did it. No, I think this guy. And blah, blah. So you guys need to check it out. Dead and Gone. It was created by Payne Lindsay. He's the guy that made Up and Vanished and Radio Rental, and he's partnered with Jake Brennan, host of Disgraceland, and they made this new podcast called Dead and Gone. So the premise of this thing is, back in '85, there's these two fans of the Dead that were murdered, and the cops arrested this African-American guy who was eventually found guilty and sentenced to death. But for the last 30 years, there's been a bunch of rumors around the Dead community that the police got the wrong guy. And so what they did with Dead and Gone is they created this 10-part investigative podcast that goes really deep into this decades-old case. And they uncover a whole bunch of new information, like witnesses with stories that point towards an alternative suspect who's still out there. So it's a trip, man. And it colors the Grateful Dead scene in a very dark kind of a way, and I know that has come under fire in the community, but I'm just going to say this as somebody that was there around the time that this stuff went down. I mean, not 85, I didn't come till 89, but there was a dark side to the scene. So all of it needs to be talked about. It's our history. It's our family history. And you don't keep skeletons in the closet. Get it? It's a joke. You guys get it? Ha. Anyway.
Not
So
even
be here all
dancing
week.
ones?
Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Yeah. Dead and Gone, man. Go search it. It's worth your time and worth a listen.
If you're into it.
If you're into it, yeah. So anyway, we should get you to the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Yeah. So think about that. It was a beautiful blue sky day, very chilly, but super bearable. We had a beautiful porch view. Propane heater, fresh coffee, and safely social distance outdoors.
Gotta have somebody over.
And it was amazing. Matt was super respectful. He was so intelligent. He was fired up. He was excited. He still working, doing amazing things during this, innovative, creative, super grateful. I was grateful for the whole entire experience.
I think we all were. So we're going to take a little trip in the Wayback Machine to a few days, or I think it was at least before the election, and listen to this interview with Matt Butler. So without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Matt Butler from Everyone Orchestra.
We don't have that many more days when we can be outside where it's
True.
Yeah.
just like I'm just trying to maximize that aspect.
Welcome to the Porch, Matt.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
man. Yeah,
yes.
we were talking
And
a little.
happy Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Weird.
I was saying to Mel today, like, it doesn't feel like a holiday. Everything is off kilter and strange.
Yeah, I mean the holiday is definitely overshadowed by the election, and we can't celebrate the holiday because of COVID. You know, we live in a neighborhood in Northeast where there's a ton of kids.
Okay.
And there's all the houses have decorations, so it's just kind of like, are people going to be out? No one, I don't think they're not supposed to. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows
It's
what
kind
the
of
hell.
bizarre.
Yeah,
Bizarre.
Do you have a bowl of candy or not? Should you be ready?
Yeah. We talked to a friend last night that has 2 little kids, and he's like, "We're not even going to try it, man. We're gonna have a dance party and watch scary movies and dress up in costumes and freak out at home." Like,
That's the idea.
Well, and if they're little kids, you're creating the tradition now instead of going along with what always has been. You have to make something up.
Right.
Let's dress up and be cute and make holiday cookies and hide candy in the house, or not even candy. Like, let's learn. I don't know. Like, let's do something fun. Let's make a big dinner.
We got chips.
Right on. What kind of chips?
I don't know. Organic junky chips.
There you go.
Perfect.
So is EO doing anything for Halloween?
Well, we always skip over this,
shit,
go right
yeah.
into it.
Sorry.
For the listeners, we always just start a conversation. We should probably have Matt introduce himself.
Thanks, Apple.
To tell us what you do.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Matt Butler. I am the founder and conductor of the Everyone Orchestra, and I live in Portland. And, I put together different lineups of musicians from all different types of bands and perform improvisation with the intent of composing music as a group and getting the audience in on the trick. And I've been doing it for almost 20 years. This New Year's Eve is my 20th anniversary. So I think there's over almost 1,000 musicians that have done it over the years. Wow. And it's kind of a wild, crazy idea that's grown from this idea that New Year's Eve years ago. So
you were playing in a band in the 90s, drumming, right?
Yeah.
And then you went to India.
I went to India with my wife, who was working for a tea company.
And is that where the idea for EO was born?
It was a combination of everything. I mean, there was a multicultural open mic that was, I mean, there were so many languages. I'd never been in a place with so many different people from so many countries in Dharamsala, India. And, English kind of was the language that a lot of people spoke together, but there was a lot of just people just couldn't communicate. But as soon as the music happened, people were singing along. It was like this whole just this togetherness thing, And then there was kind of a jam at the end of the night, and I just kind of thought that's what I want to facilitate. Like somehow this coming together of real kind of a wide array of people and just feel this connected at the end. That's my goal, So, after that, I grew up in an orchestral household, okay. So I had really powerful, inspiring conductors in my life.
Wow.
That would be at our dinner table. Maren Alsop from the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. Actually, I think she might have just left there to somewhere. But anyway, she's an amazing conductor who's actually done a number of shows with Trey.
Okay.
And she was such an inspiration because she always brought out really great performances in people that. And I can't compare what I do to what an orchestral conductor does, other than we're a vortex for everybody to kind of work off of, right? And just the way that she would bring energy out of people and their focus and their enthusiasm and their like kind of best artistic selves. I grabbed pieces of that. Like I want to bring that to my stage,
Right.
That's very noble. Well, how old were you at the time? Like, what?
I mean, she was kind of living with us off and on from like when I was, I think, 16 through 19 or something like that.
Wow, super formative.
Yeah. But so then there's other pieces too, because I was a tennis coach in college, and because tennis was like music and tennis were my worlds.
Okay.
And like running drills. Like with kids and stuff, sometimes you get into a groove and you have everybody engaged in a way that you just and everyone's maybe at different levels, but somehow you're getting them to kind of like do the best thing and you're kind of cheering them on,
Yeah.
And I swear sometimes when we're doing a show, I reflect back to those moments because it's just all about kind of like working with a group and somehow, encouraging them in a way that they respect and are enthusiastic to be a part of it,
And
so,
make it all flow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's the other piece of, Jambay did a lot of super jams with like leftover salmon and cheese and various people. And I just loved the unorthodox, unplanned moments. They always kind of sat with me more than all the shows that we worked so hard and with our 100 song set list, like those jams always kind of reminded they brought me together with those people,
right?
It was so fun and inspiring. So
that's the thing about improvisational music is those moments when you step off the cliff, and you don't know what can happen, and then something beautiful does come out of it. Then that's what the crowd is responding to, and we joke around on the show. They call me the conductor. That's like my nickname. And I always thought of it as like a train conductor when I get called that.
Right.
And we were at Pigeons. I told you this. You and I talked at the beginning of the pandemic on a Zoom call, but that Pigeon show was really formative for me. I've been to a lot of shows, Matt, and I've seen a lot of music, and that was really special in a lot of ways. It made me see what I do here in a completely different way. And so I started thinking about the word conductor and what it means. And I'm just curious, in classical music and orchestral settings, the conductor is this integral part of the music and how it happens. But I never have understood what the role of the conductor really is. Like, what is the function of him or her?
Well, like I kind of just described, it's kind of like a vortex, like for everyone's focus to kind of work off of, you know, and for better or worse, it's just simply an agreement to have some sort of organizational structure. So a large group can be cohesive, you know?
Wow.
So that's how I see it, you know? I mean, because they're reading music, they're keeping everybody kind of going on the music together. So without it, it would just be a little bit more chaos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of power to be able to get, like you said, a large group of people to be cohesive, not just get along.
Yeah.
That's minimal. That's baseline.
Yeah.
But to like groove and make these amazing things, like what was it about your conductor that, or what was it about it that made you want to do that inside?
Well, it took a while for me to really dawn on that I was the conductor for Everyone Orchestra. Because when I first came up with the idea, that's not what I was thinking. I was the drummer. I put it together.
Okay.
I facilitated the whole thing. I was
You orchestrated
it was my
it.
show, but I had other people conduct. I'd actually hire other conductors. Yeah, Ty North conducted a whole bunch of them.
okay.
And Jamie Janover conducted a whole bunch of them. You know, I had guest conductors. Fishman conducted one time, and it was utter chaos. And
I can't even imagine.
totally hilarious. It was all right. He held up the letter K. What's going to happen? You know, it was just like
Play in the key of K. Go.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Lebo from ALO's conducted. He's a really good conductor, and he conducts his own bands from his guitar playing place. But there's a certain point. Well, so you said that there's a lot of power in that, and when I was the first 5 years I did Everyone Orchestra, I didn't conduct. I played drums. And some of the times the conductors were totally awesome, and it was like that whole idea that the group cohesivity was happening. And other times it started to feel like we were pawns on a chessboard to this conductor.
Mastermind.
Yeah, the mastermind that wasn't really thinking about our experience, just had an idea of what they wanted to see happen.
Oh,
you
shit.
know?
Okay.
And I really realized that that's not what it was about for me. It actually wasn't fun. It's kind of fun for a minute, but then it's like, let us
like
play.
Strict.
Yeah,
Like-
we want to play music. There's this element of like, having somebody conduct and give direction and then letting the people jam, And literally I conducted my first one, I think in 2005 in San Francisco, and Mark Brownstein from Disco Biscuits was playing bass, and he and I were like the rhythm section for all these different. It was kind of a collaborative night of music, and EO was going to be kind of the ending part, and I was the third of three conductors. And at the end, and I really had an epiphany that night, because I had a way of giving direction and concise asking of what the musicians do at times, but then just letting it go and letting it blossom on its own and giving space. And Brownstein just, he kind of pinned me against the wall. He's like, "You're the conductor. You're the conductor of this." So it was a moment. I felt that. I was like, and it was scary for me to get out from behind the kit, because I'm really comfortable laying down a groove and just laying and doing that. I could do that all night long, and I still love to do that and do that a lot. But and that I basically been conducting ever since then, and trying to. I hadn't even thought about like the compositional aspect of the possibilities. Like at the Pigeons show, we composed a song out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it was like, and literally I was so nervous right before that. So I get more nervous conducting a band than I do conducting a random orchestra or a different line of
Because they
musicians.
know each other?
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations. It's like there's a lot of expectations on the audience's part, because they want to hear the band play. They want to hear the band play the songs, and that's what they're there for.
Okay.
So, I've had negative experiences of being put up in front, being invited to sit in like this, and there's no context from the audience have no idea who I am or what's going on, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like,
came to see whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
But that one, it just, I just immediately went into that ska thing, and it just was like, blink, it just all appeared, and it was just a beautiful, we reprised the chorus and everything. It was just like, it's all the different elements of like improvisation and spontaneity were like alive and well that night,
And it was amazing to see, because those guys are, so we always kind of refer to like the theater guys of the
musical theater, the jam band.
Yeah, they are so,
Right.
they are such a trip, and
Yeah.
Greg is so, I mean, just, they're like over the top, but like in the best way ever.
Yeah, they're super wonderful, and I look forward to collaborating with them more.
Well, there was something about it though, and not just that night. It's what EO does. At least for me, it makes music feel different, because when you go see a band, like you said, you're gonna see what that band does. Even if you go see Phish, there's gonna be a 25-minute jam somewhere in the show. You're gonna see a set list of songs. But when you have a group of musicians that have never played together, and this part of it blows my mind, that you guys don't rehearse at all. So there's this unknowing that's occurring. So the energy changes in the room. The energy is completely different.
Yep.
And what comes out of that is, I imagine that's what a practice room sounds like, when a band really is hot and they're trying to figure out what to put on the next album.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh shit, that's the thing. Let's do that again.
Right.
So it felt a lot different, and it moved me in a different way. And I know these guys too. Like,
Well, you heard us listening on the way up. That's the first time I had heard it, and that was an anthem. I felt like I was in there grabbing the microphones, and I was saying, "I am strong."
Yeah.
It's like, you need to hear this one, Mel.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's what I meant about powerful and the cohesion, and about being able to utilize that gift of bringing large groups of people together to do not only baseline, bottom line things, but extraordinary things. And we need that right now.
Right.
That is, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thought that you just put that out recently. That it's current.
Yeah, the whole virtual thing is kind of another conversation.
That's what I wanted to
I wanted to ask about it
definitely
too.
wanted to pick up on that.
We're talking about I Am Beautiful, which is from the Virtual Sessions 3, and it was an all-female lineup. And, virtually, basically, so was not in the same room with anybody. The songs are built in different ways.
Okay.
Like sometimes I'll have somebody give me 16 bars of two different sections, to a click track, and then I'll edit that into like a song format, and then videotape myself. Oh, then I'll play drums to it, and then I'll videotape myself conducting. Like I'll create a conducting performance, and then send the video to different people to perform to, including the lyricist. So I got her to like give me, it's like, hey, can you give me a chorus by tomorrow afternoon? She's like, yeah, it's the same thing. So she gave me that chorus. So and immediately I put that into the thing, and I sent it out to the next person doing the performance, and they had a little bit more to work with, because I was conducting, then they had the chorus to sing along with, and she came up with another verse, and so and then it just kind of built that way. And some of the people didn't hear some of the other performances. Like I had like probably the last 3 people didn't hear the other people before them, because it takes too long.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, during the pandemic, we're putting flags in the ground, like, I have this whole team of people ready to like produce EO on the road, and they're just like, so like, let's do it in 3 weeks, so, but getting the musicians to get files back, and the whole logistics of, doing this thing of performing to a conducting video, you got to sync it up. It's very tricky. You have
whoever gets it last is stoked.
Pretty much. and I'll build the thread one way, so one person will get get it last on, for one of them, another person will get the last one.
Okay.
Something like that. So try to keep it mixed up.
Yeah, because I was like, there's no way they did this with each other's latency on Zoom. There's no, it's not. It's impossible.
It is. So I mean, it's got that
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
That I don't want to use the word random. It's got that wide array of talent and personalities that are just coming together, and then something happens, and sometimes it just really catches on. And that song, and we could that song could be like re-recorded in like a little like pop song. It's so, that hook is so amazing.
I was even singing it. And I said the same thing. I was like, that could be something amazing. Right. It already is.
Right.
It already is.
Right. But in this format, it's like a 9-minute tune, I think, or something. It's a whole different way of listening to music because it's experiential. It's not like a 5-minute pop song. It's kind of a different thing. So it's a big ask for the listener, whether you're an audience goer, like, after doing this for 15 years, I'm still explaining the concept to people, and they're like, no, that third song you played, wasn't that a Hall & Oates song?
No.
Oh my
so
God.
happens the same notes are out there.
What's amazing watching that too, watching all four of them now, right?
Yeah.
Watching I could put that on for somebody not knowing and be like, they're all playing live together right now. This is a stream. It is seamless the way it goes together, and you edit it. That's so you do all the editing.
Yeah, I have a co-producer partner named Todd Kushner.
Okay.
Who's somebody I've been in, we've worked in the music business for over 25 years. Actually, he was the first manager for Jam Bay, and we've been reconnecting the last 5 years. And the pandemic would not be the same for me without Todd, because he's the video audio editor, and we've just been like, how do we do this? We've been
congratulations,
man.
You guys have pulled it together well.
Well, that was something. The first time you and I spoke, like you said, it was like 3 weeks into the whole thing.
Oh yeah, we hadn't done it yet,
right? And I remember you and I were talking about what are we going to do? Like, how is this going to shake out? And I think I even asked you, like, what's in your head about where live music is going to go? And it's forced you to like create something out of nothing again.
Yeah.
And what does that feel like, man, to have to push like that 15 years into building something, and now your paintbrush is
actually 19 years.
Oh, I'm 19. Okay.
Yeah, that's right, because it's New Year's Eve.
Right. Your paintbrush is taken away. And so now you're forced
recreated
to pivot.
Well, it was really interesting, because one of the most interesting things that happened in the virtual Everyone Orchestra was I'm front facing. So now everybody sees what I'm conducting to the band, which is, I hadn't thought about how that's a really good thing. I mean, I show the audience my thing, and we've done videotape so people can see a video of me the whole time. It's kind of complicated, but it's just all of a sudden I'm front facing the whole time, and that was a really enlightening, kind of powerful thing for me to experience. And the whole idea of composing through improvisation, like I said, when I first started this, I knew we'd create cool jams, but now I'm like, let's compose music, let's be open to the fact that we could just compose like one of the best songs ever in the history of the world right now, and just go for it, and maybe it won't be, but maybe it will, and just my role as a conductor is to kind of aim for that. Don't demand it, but just aim for that possibility with whatever's being created.
Yeah. It really seems like a silver lining on a really shitty situation.
It's been a creative renaissance for me in sorts.
That's beautiful.
And I've been playing a whole bunch of drums, which drumming for me is kind of like the lubricant for my brain.
Wow.
And for my creative spirit, and so just sitting in my kit, I come up with ideas. And that's where I do my best thinking, just like rolling tape and just playing along with stuff, or playing tracks for people, I just that's where I do my best thinking. So
is
it's
that
been
meditation
really
for you?
It's like coming out.
It is kind of, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, I guess meditation can be a lot of things. What, man?
We were just having a conversation about you getting back to drawing, and a lot of people are feeling that, a renaissance of sorts.
Right.
And isn't that what happens after something so traumatic and dramatic to a nation, a society, globe, and he's right. I wanted to jump on what he said, like, thanks for putting out such a current, powerful, enjoyable new way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Because it is interactive, but you're now facing the computer, so now we can pick up our instrument and play our version of I Am Strong,
right.
and add that we can edit that into that. And what you're doing is creating something with an arm for everybody. Is what I feel like. I feel like the octopus, and then there's these arms. Just you've allowed these multiple arms to continue to grow out, and it's unending. If it gets cut off, another one grows in its place, and that's a special thing, because I have not been feeling hopeful. I've been feeling really shitty lately, and to be able to see something like that, where you get tired of seeing shit on the technology. You know what I mean? Like, I want to turn it off. Like, but then you see something like that, and it renews people's spirits. It's renewed my spirit. It's renewed my faith in music, and how it can be, not just consumed, but also enjoyed and then played with, back.
It takes work
to
get there. Tennis. But it takes work. The technology is like, there's so many distractions.
Yes. That's what I mean about that.
Like the hell of Facebook, and how it's so integrated in so many things in the music industry, especially, for us to share media and get the word out and just connect with people. But it's like, to get to that stuff, it's like you have to just, there's a million cliffs to fall off of, holes to go down to get to that one nugget, and hosting Zoom gatherings that are meaningful is another one of my passions, and it's like, it's hard work, because people don't, I don't want to get back on Zoom. There's not a lot bringing me back to there, but if everybody brings a little bit of intent, a little bit of energy, a little bit of time, you can actually do some really quality connecting and feel kind of, I'm not alone, and it's kind of like any 12-step programs, like making you feeling like you're not alone. It's like, just as humans, like, we need like a 12-step human program to stay connected. Like, we're not alone,
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the things that happened when we started doing the podcast was people started letting us know that they felt like they were sitting here with us when we were talking.
Yeah, there wasn't just one-sided, it was interactive.
And it made them not feel alone. And that's why, like, at the beginning of every show, I'm like, hey, No Simple Road family, how's it going? It's because that's a real thing. It's a community. It's a connection with the people that are listening. My voice is vibrating. It's going through whatever. It's going into their brain. It's in them energetically. They're feeling it. And then also feeling the vibration of the conversation that's happening, like a jam, the same kind of way.
Nice.
And bringing them into that. And then I realized, like, we were meeting the artists that inspire us. And after we speak with them, the music is different for me. And it hits me deeper, and it means something else. And so I was like, I wonder if after they listen, they're getting that. And come to find out, yes, like there's a connection that's happening, and it's on a deeper level. And
nice.
And the thing in the pandemic about all of that that's been the most difficult is not seeing the faces, right, and not having eye contact and not getting the hug. But on the flip side, like you're saying, there's this virtual space where we can all come together, and it's not mitigated by distance anymore.
Right.
That's
a huge, incredible, strange variable to like have in there,
Very
right? And that's also with the virtual thing. I'm like, sometimes at a festival, I couldn't find enough female artists to play at the same time, know, but like virtually, like, let's do it. We can do it now, easy, So
yeah,
it opened up the possibilities.
You mentioned the Zoom meetings, and we're starting a book club.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Yeah, and so just like, every 2 weeks we're gonna get together on Zoom and talk and hang out and discuss whatever book we're gonna read.
Yep.
And it's funny that you even said that, because I was like, is this cheesy? Is this silly to do this?
I guess yes and no, isn't it?
it's work. It takes energy, and I think that it's like it's kind of necessary to keep your mental health, tuned up for getting through this. So I do this. I call it my day job. It's an extension of what Everyone Orchestra is, but I'm the chief event orchestrator for an organization called IGE Music and Art Immersions, and
amazing.
we basically do destination kind of boutique destination events that are fundraisers and artist retreats with we've done it in Venice and Barcelona and Lisbon, and we were supposed to be in Prague this last October. But so we've done the virtual immersion basically, where we've been fundraising to our community and beyond that, and hiring the musicians to do virtual musical collaborations, and then doing a Zoom event, a virtual immersion, where we present the songs that we created, that the community funded,
right.
And the musicians are there talking about it, and and then we do breakout rooms, and people are hanging out with the musicians. Then we come back, and there's 5 or 6 videos, and we're collaborating with musicians that we played with in Italy and Portugal and Spain and Argentina, and like there's this. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's this really cool thing that, like, we're connecting in a different way than we ever thought we would because of this thing, and it really has really powerful moments.
Right.
Wow.
I think for me, it's not just for me, but for all of us, it's an adjustment, though, because the human aspect of things, the energetic level of things, like sitting with somebody and feeling their presence, is a big part of being alive and being on the planet. And right now we are being forced to shun connection and closeness. Even in daily interactions at the grocery store, you're eyed with suspicion and derision a little bit, like, are you sick? Stay away from me. Cover your face.
Yep.
And I get
there's
it.
phobia.
I get it.
It's a
No,
little
but I get
phobia.
it. And it's a necessary thing for the time that we're in. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying that it's happening. And so this virtual world that we've moved into, we really are in the fucking matrix now.
Yeah, now we are.
And so it's caused us to have to adjust our antenna.
Well, I hope it's only temporary, because
Me too,
because I think my hope for it really is that when we can do more stuff in person, that all the good things about the matrix, or whatever you want to call it, of this kind of, like, we can connect in a different way, can be utilized for new ways of connecting, and to increase the possibilities.
And they're starting to figure it out. Like that. I mean, we got turned off back in March, and now they're figuring out how to turn it back on. All of us get back in there. The drive-in concert things are starting to happen. They're finding a way to get back to being able to go to String Summit next year and hang out with people, and to do that. We're figuring it out, and
even if they haven't figured it out, I just think that the collective psyche is like, doesn't have much more patience or ability to manage it without that human contact. It's like, without the human contact, we might just die anyway. So it's kind of like,
Ooh, set break. That first set was pretty happening, man.
It was pretty happening, man.
Yeah.
I'm all sweaty. I need to go get a new t-shirt. What should I do?
If I was you, I would go check out Shop Tour Bus.
Yeah, where are they? Where do I go? Where do I find them?
Wow, man.
What, we left you hanging.
Yeah,
I did leave you hanging. I'm sorry. I don't know what I wasn't thinking.
I was just watching, going,
You
this
can
is
go
cool.
to Instagram and check at Shop Tour Bus.
Or shoptourbus.com.
Or shoptourbus.com. And you will see all the cool things they're up to. They just started shipping the Let It Grow shirts.
And the Foolish Heart stickers.
The Foolish Heart stickers and everything. They're up to good things over there.
If you're unclear as to whom Shop Tour Bus is, they are the original sponsor of No Simple Road.
Yes, they
They
are
are the internet's purveyor of the finest gourmet premium Grateful Dead inspired t-shirts, hoodies, and
Much
all
more.
other merch out
Yeah,
there.
they've got a lot of
They
merch
come out
now.
with pins here and there, stickers here and there, the hoodies, socks,
tote bags,
fanny packs. They've had, they have things. You just have to
children's
check it out.
clothes.
And the coolest thing about Shop Tour Bus is that it doesn't just come to your house just in a bag or just a lame old plain box.
No.
They hand design each and every box with a Grateful Dead lyric on the inside. They fill it full of all kinds of extra stuff, and every box comes with a bona fide, genuine, certified Grateful Dead bootleg cassette tape and a pencil to spool that tape with should it get eaten in your antiquated tape player. So it is not just your run-of-the-mill place to grab some merch on the digital lot. It is the baddest place out there. So go check out shoptourbus.com online or at shoptourbus on Instagram. And when you check out, put in the promo code No Simple Road, one word, and our family over at Shop Tour Bus is going to give you free shipping. That's put in the promo code No Simple Road when you're checking out. And because it's the holidays, you can purchase your stuff for whomever you're buying a gift for, and when you're checking out, you can leave a little note in there so that when it arrives, it gives them a little extra little
Merry
fun.
Christmas, love, Auntie.
Yeah. And, now that I have my new Shop Tour Bus shirt on, before we start the next set, I want to smoke a joint. Where should we get that?
If we're up here in the Portland area, I would go over to Define Premium Cannabis.
Let's do that again.
Define Premium Cannabis.
There, we didn't leave you hanging this time.
Okay,
Apple.
I appreciate it. I don't like to be left hanging.
Define has everything that you're looking for if you're trying to take care of your head, man. They have topicals.
What if I want to take care of my body?
Edibles. They have smokables. They have
topicals.
Hand trim flower, keef, diamonds, RSO, dabs. Help me out.
Bath bombs. We're gonna be getting. Was it High Desert Pure just came
That's
out?
awesome.
They came out with these
love High
bitchin'
Desert
bath
Pure.
salts that we're gonna be getting in pretty soon. So I mean, we got you covered. And if you come in, there's something that you need that we don't have, we can usually get that for you pretty soon.
And if you go into the Hillsboro location Monday through Friday and ask for Apple, he will come out of the back dressed like a long haul trucker. And he will truck around the inside of the display case for you, and he will find your perfect product for you. And if you tell him that you are a listener of No Simple Road, you are going to get 10% off your purchase and a free t-shirt. So 2 locations to serve you in the Portland area, one in Hillsboro, one in Forest Grove.
I am at the Hillsboro shop. Come in, and I just got to say to a listener out there, one of our bud tenders came the other day, said somebody they weren't aware of the No Simple Road discount. I missed you. If you come in again, I don't know who it was. They didn't know. They said they gave you the discount. You missed out on the free t-shirt. Come in, ask for me. Even if they say I'm busy, say, would you please go get them? And sorry, I missed you, man.
Oh, and that is not a one-time discount. Every time you go in, tell them you listen to the show, and you're going to get 10% off.
Yes,
that
you
is
will get that every time. Not a free t-shirt every time, but you will continually get the 10% discount.
After 50 visits, I have these 50 t-shirts that I've been started selling online. No, that's not how it goes. But we are giving you the 10% off hookup every time you go into Define in Hillsboro or Forest Grove here in the Portland area, and I think that break is almost over.
I hear.
Everyone Orchestra is going to take the stage again.
Matt Butler starting.
All right. Oh, there he is. There's his top hat.
Hey, quit talking.
Shut up. At the beginning of this thing, I work for a telecommunications company here and would travel to an office every day. And then at the beginning of this, that stopped. And I was telling these guys a couple of days ago, I'm like, you guys, I want you to think about this. I've been home for 8 months. I've been home for 8 months. That's not okay. And so I know what you mean about the psyche my psyche has an expiration date on this shit.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the most beautiful place I could possibly be on the planet.
Right.
Like, please don't get me wrong.
Right.
I am very grateful.
I know. There's a lot of different places that I could have been stuck in my life.
Right.
Had this happened at a different moment in my life.
Totally.
I'm really thankful.
I've been under a stairwell, sleeping on a cardboard pallet.
Yep.
So, could have been there, but I'm here.
Sounds like a tour bus, but
yeah, no shit. The walls start closing in, man, and you start feeling like this is never going to end. And reality is broken, and the thing that has brought me personally the most hope and relief through this is music.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That is just it. And I feel like apart from living with my family and having a beautiful relationship with my wife, and like that is the life's blood that's kept me going through this whole thing. Like just like what EO just did with those women, like that's a huge deal. Like Melanie was saying, like we are in this space where it's very hard to move, and anything that gives that lubrication to be able to mentally maneuver again is paramount.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
A reason to dance.
Guys, like having you over as a conductor and like what you do, he does with the show. He does 90% of everything editing. You guys are like conductors, but now like cyber conductors.
Right.
Yeah.
Like figuring out how to maneuver those pieces in the virtual world and make beautiful stuff like you do, and him putting our show together. You guys are the ones that are figuring out how to help us reconnect. And it's beautiful.
Well, and like Matt was just saying, it when things go back to normal, and I'm putting my stamp on that, or whatever the new version of that thing is, I think all of this will be an adjunct.
Yeah.
It'll be a very important part of the way it looks moving forward. Do you have I don't want to say a prediction, but like a vision of how you see things panning out for music?
I can only speak for myself,
right?
You know, and I mean, I kind of see, in some ways, like Everyone Orchestra is absolutely the wrong concept for the pandemic, because I'm bringing together different people from all different bubbles, right?
Yeah.
So I've done it twice now, and I have a third one coming up on Tuesday, and I basically say you have to wear a mask on stage unless you're playing a horn. Or, you know, if you're singing a part, but as soon as you're done singing your part, put your mask back on. This is the only way we have to do this right now. It's just, you know.
Yeah, it's protocol.
So that's kind of a strange thing. But on the other hand, you know, if I'm working with just local musicians or regional musicians all over the place, maybe it's perfect for a pandemic or post-pandemic world, because it's just me traveling and meeting the individuals there. They're not traveling, you know. I mean, a lot of times before the pandemic, I was bringing in a lineup of 6 or 7 people all flying in, and just being kind of an environmental catastrophe that we're used to. You know, it's like, you know, maybe that's just not the way it is for EO moving forward. So, and again, continuing to kind of like, you know, vision or whatever I could possibly see for Everyone Orchestra in the future is, you know, having a home-based facility where maybe I have a home studio that can have 150 people audience or something, and we bring artists to Portland for like 4 days, you know, a 3-day run. They arrive on Thursday night. We do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we do like performances each night, and then each day we do some other kind of thing that really maximizes the time of the artist, gives them a really deep, meaningful Portland experience, and a super deep connection with the other musicians that are coming in. And that could be a mix of people from the region and a few people flying in, you know? So that's kind of like, and just seeing how we could do it differently, but keep on working a lot and keep on mixing it up in a real meaningful way. Those are kind of different ways that I'm kind of imagining it, you know, working out. And I don't have a facility yet. My basement is not big enough for that, but I am putting it out there to the universe, because I think that that's the next thing for us here in Portland.
Wow.
So
wow.
Just saying, when we
you're not at a loss for ideas, are you?
No, it's a busy mind right there.
And yet you seem so calm, and your demeanor is just very relaxed and chill. I mean, it's a gorgeous day.
I took a hot tub this morning.
Heck yeah.
When we moved up 4 years ago, we moved from Las Vegas, and our intent is to get property and have a place where people can come and decompress. The dynamic of this family, for whatever reason, the personalities involved and whoever we are, creates a space where people can relax. And so we want to do that more. And part of the vision of that is having space where musicians can come. Like if you've been on the road for 6 months and you need to chill out for a minute, you could just come and we'll cook you food, and you can hang out and sit by a fire pit and relax. and also having space for people to come and play. And so it's kind of a...
Well, I mean, everything, what you've made me think of, Matt, since I've been writing a little bit, but since you got here, is like how to advance and how to move forward. You didn't even say any of those things, but
No.
that's just your vibe or whatever. Like you're bringing us into the technological age. Like here, you're walking us into it, whether you realize it or not. And so you're conducting on a grander scale also, not just with the musicians, even though that may be one of the ways you get it out, but really like you as a person are, just even before we turn on the mics, just forward moving and forward thinking. And I appreciate that so much because there's not a lot of, it's hard to get lost, like you said, or it's easy to get lost in the junk of things.
Well, I think that truly the amount of loss right now is like, I think it's humanly unfathomable. I think that if you really consider how much we've lost in the last 8 months, it might be hard to live. It might be hard to because it could just completely consume you, and as we get 5, 10, 15, 20 years away from this, I think that there's going to be less of the before times kind of feeling, but it really feels like, oh yeah, that was the before times. And I can't mourn anymore. I have trouble. I have trouble watching old shows because it makes me sad. I would rather watch a new virtual connection or a solo artist, even on a shitty Zoom feed or whatever, just to be with them as they do their thing. It gives me more hope. Even if it's like, it's obviously not as good as being there, it's not as good as being the show, but it actually, for me, it's better than watching like, okay, that epic, string cheese from Red Rocks,
when everybody was dancing and
right.
rubbing elbows.
I just, it's just like there's this strange kind of, I just don't know if we're equipped for it. Like, and like I don't know if like we're equipped for social media the way it's worked. Maybe that'll be our downfall, really. In terms of what's, whether it's going to cause civil war or whatever. It's like, it's just like it's there's a lot of things that I think that it's hard for this human brain and spirit to fully grasp, and maybe we're not meant to. And, so I just keep on trying to think about how we can do it differently and make the most of it.
Yeah.
So that fuel is just kind of because you can't mourn anymore and you just got to do something with that.
And even if the whole thing was to like go up in flames, I want to be drumming.
Go out singing.
Yeah, totally.
That's punk rock, man.
Right. Totally.
That's rad.
Well, Mel said that it was last week or so where you're talking. She's like, it's like BC, like before Corona and after, like BC.
Yeah.
And but like things are different.
Yeah.
You do watch, and it's like that's not.
It doesn't feel
that. Yeah.
right.
Now it's different, and now it's about new connections and going forward.
But
and
even this morning, we watched that. There's a video that came out from Trey's show from the Beacon last night, and the video starts off with him still on the platform from New Year's Eve last year in the garden, and it's empty, and his hair's down past his shoulders, and he's got a big beard, and he's like, hello, like, where is everybody? And then him walking through empty streets to the Beacon to sit down in the balcony, sitting down on the balcony to watch himself play. And it was really powerful because as he's walking, he's picking up newspapers that are like, the headline is like murder hornets and global lockdown and all this stuff. And it really like put a fine point on where we are right now and what music is right now. It was really genius and made me feel happy and sad at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. And
because the comfort in having somebody know what you feel like, it's great, but it sucks because you both feel like shit. Like, I'm glad
we're in it together. But the thing about moving forward and mourning, you brought up the word mourning, and that's been a big theme.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people like either personally close to you or just in our musical community or in our scientific or in our, there's so much loss. It's just like, oh yeah, Toots died. Like, fuck.
Right.
It's like, it could just go.
His dad and my uncle died within months of each other. And these were like our patriarchal heads, our strong men that you would never think.
Yeah, that guy's going to be alive forever.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that it's, that we shouldn't mourn. I just my mourning muscle is exhausted.
Your meter is
it's
the VU meter is
difficult, right?
Yeah. And so going forward looks like figuring out new ways to connect and still bring the magic that we understand and that we know.
Yep.
And so you just played at the Ardmore.
I did.
And so was that your second, you said?
Oh, so, well, back to, do I have a Halloween show?
Oh, yeah. That was like the very first question. Way to go, Matt.
I already performed it, and it's happening tonight.
Heck yeah.
So there you go.
You're in the future right now.
I know. So we recorded it a week and a half ago in Eugene. We did a set of music with Jan Zingber and Kellen Asbrook from Fruition and just a bunch of great musicians, and it's for a private party for Sugar Top Buttery down in Eugene. My friend Jared Kaplan. I don't know if you know Jared.
I deal with Sugar Top Buttery.
Yeah.
And being in the business.
Yeah. So Anna Kaplan and Jared. Anyway, so they basically they've been doing an annual Halloween party for years that Motet played last year at the McDonald Theater. And this year they hired 4 bands to record. They created a little sound stage in one of their facilities, and people dressed up in costumes, and we did like a 60-minute EO set that they're going to broadcast tonight on their Facebook page. So that's kind of their that's their thing, which
cool.
It basically it employed musicians. It gave them the party to focus on, and they're encouraging people to stay in their pods. And there's all these different games that they've created, for their people to interact with virtually, or actually even in Eugene, you can do like somewhat of a treasure hunt, like I think leading up to the night, So it's pretty creative. So that was the first Everyone Orchestra playing with other musicians. There was no audience at all in that one. In 8 months, basically. Jesus. Wow. And this last weekend at the Ardmore was the first one where we were on stage, streaming it live, and we had an audience of 12 people in the room, which actually, it was powerful. Like, those people, and plus we had, a couple other production people in the house, but really, I think maybe 20 people max. The energy was raging. It was totally raging, and it was super cathartic.
Wow.
And
did you dress up?
I always dress up.
Yeah. Where's an awesome? He's dressed up to come over here.
Every day's Halloween in my life.
All right.
So I'm doing it on Tuesday night. I'm doing a show at the Alberta Rose for Headcount. So 4 years ago, Andy Bernstein from Headcount asked me to do it's his idea. This is his concept of the soundtrack to history and improvise to the election results as they come in.
What? The soundtrack to history?
Right. Fraught, right? It's fraught. And so like 4 years ago, we were at the Brooklyn Bowl with like an all-star studded cast, and they actually had ABC News like giant projected behind us, behind the band. And so I'm watching the news behind the band, and we're jamming, and the fucking thing's going down in flames, right? And it was like, it felt like the greatest jam you could ever imagine at like your best friend's funeral or something. It's just like, there was like this like confusing moment of
weird feeling,
just weird, So I didn't know. Andy started contacting me in the spring. He's like, I just listened to the show again. He's like, dude, it's the music is unbelievable. It's so good. It's raw. It's amazing. And would you consider doing it again?
For this one? For this
shit. And I'm like, gosh. I don't know, Andy. I don't know. He's like, well, just think about it, And the more, and then he's like, And first of all, he was like, they were going to bring me out to Brooklyn and stuff, and I just don't know if I want to be away from home, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, why don't you do it in Portland? Find a place where you can do it in Portland, and maybe we bring musicians in, but maybe it's all about just you and your Portland peeps, and you just do it there. So kind of, Ken Kesey always said hard times need strong rituals, and coming from not having gigs, not being able to play with people, thinking I have an opportunity to offer musicians, I have the opportunity to offer the theater, and an opportunity to offer myself to be not just be like stressed out and chomping my nails all night long. It's like I could actually be doing something cathartic. I'd be playing drums and percussion and just like dancing around and like basically doing a musical prayer that people vote like hell. And and it's part of the I Voted concerts, which Trey is a part of. There's all kinds of huge bands that are a part of, and we're the one that's improvising to the results as they come in. That's the deal.
So wow, if you think about that, I mean, I'm
again conducting into the future,
dude,
and you already did it.
I know, and I think that like some of the musicians, it might have been the worst gig that they'd ever done on some level, not because of anything I did, just because it was like
the circumstances.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's a couple things like I'm thinking, if Trump wins, it could feel disastrous, but I'm like, I'd still rather be playing music for part of it. I'd still rather be with like my musical friends, like doing something cathartic together, regardless, Doing
what you love.
And I just feel like, just offering that like prayer out there is really how I see it, So, not everybody I asked was gung ho. But I have a great lineup of musicians that are super gung-ho, and it's going to be amazing.
There's two parts to this I want to get into. So the first part of it is, if you think about the United States and the collective consciousness of our people, it's really turbulent right now as a consciousness. And to give a soundtrack to that consciousness in that moment is intense.
Right.
That's, I think I would be too scared to do it. I would,
I'm scared.
Yeah.
And scared's not the right word, because it's kind of like how I felt like before I flew to Philadelphia, because it's like I'm like excited and like, you have a hard task in front of you. You're kind of building up focus. You're concerned. You're like really intent on it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just intent on it. It's really important. I have to be ready to facilitate anybody's emotions or any outcome of what's gonna happen, and try to just help it be for the positive.
Facilitate emotions.
Is it exhausting for you to conduct? Is it not physically, mentally, spiritually speaking? Does it fill you up, or does it take away?
No, it fills me up. It absolutely fills me up. It is exhausting physically. I mean, I kind of go into a trance.
I see it.
I just kind of my body movements I kind of can't control it. I used to sit, and as soon as I started moving my body, just like with the music, it kind of elevated it a whole level. And I sometimes I move my body in ways that I don't normally move my body, and I don't even remember moving like that. And I see a video, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder why I couldn't walk. The next day I'm like, oh my God, so
being in the 40s, awesome.
You look pretty healthy. You can handle it.
But all these musical things, whether it was the virtual, they've all been hopeful flags to put in the ground in the future that are keeping me going, and I guess I feel like some purpose around, what I've created with Everyone Orchestra and the community, is to kind of keep putting those flags out there. So this is just another freaking crazy flag of sorts, and, I worked with Ken Kesey a bunch with Djembe back in the 90s, and that strong times need strong rituals. It really, it's a big part of my psyche, and not that times are always hard, but I think being human has this kind of intrinsic, hardness to getting old. Just our mortality is a difficult thing to fathom.
Right.
And, kind of the beauty about the Grateful Dead community, it just kind of, and it's funny because
it's immortal.
Well, you know, it's like when I was a kid, I remember before I knew anything about the Grateful Dead, I grew up in Eugene, and I just see the name the Grateful Dead, and I was like, what is that? You know? And it's like the happy dead is kind of like the happy death, or the happy, we're all going to die, so be happy. Yay. You know? That's kind of how I thought before I even heard or really knew what the music was about. Right. And all I knew the music was about, like, there's this crazy guy that would come, you know, conduct my mom, who's in the Eugene Symphony, named Ken Kesey, you know, who would help fundraise for the symphony. And he was somehow connected with this band, the Grateful Dead. And when the Grateful Dead would come to town, my parents would be like, let's go to the coast, you know?
Or it's about to get crazy here.
Or they would play at Mac Court, which is like 4 blocks from my house. And all of a sudden, all these people are walking around the neighborhood. And I'm like, what is going on? You know, it's like, yeah, it's like, are these Rajneeshis? No, they're not. They're hippies. But, you know, that was my reality, you know, as a kid. So, but I just think that, like, you know, the fact that we're all gonna die, and like the Grateful Dead would just bring that kind of that everybody in their present moment through their jams, which is kind of like, you know, like a gospel church does that, just cracks you open and brings you to the moment, like you're just so present, you know. And I just feel like that's where there's so much positivity in being connected with people through music. And where it really is spiritual for me. And I feel like as a conductor in everyone orchestra, I'm trying to harvest that moment of connectivity, you know, where everybody is just present.
Yeah, man.
And you know, it's amazing. Sometimes it's like, I feel like learning how to do everyone orchestra over the years, my job was to get the musicians to feel okay to get up on stage and have no idea what was going to happen, really. And then get the audience to understand and support us, and to be okay with knowing that the musicians don't know what's going to happen.
And involve them.
And then the first thing, and then so when everybody's up there, we're just about to start, everyone's just like, like that. You know? What do we do, man? The ears are big. Their ears are leaning in. Everyone's leaning in with intent, and like kind of, and I'm like, wow, that's the hook right there. Just because the intent, we didn't have to play a note. Like everybody's so present right in the moment. It's like whatever, you know. That's why Funk and A sometimes works so well. And I don't know if you know this thing about Funk and A. It's like funk. It's kind of a joke. I've started like 90% of everyone orchestra shows
Funk Jam
in Funk in A.
Okay, got it.
And it's always different. It's just always different, no matter what. You know, it's just like, you know, just the way people interpret it and just things happen. It just always is a little bit different, you know. And so it's just it's kind of like the sound check song.
I got it.
It's just kind of like it's an easy thing to get. You know, it's like, oh, that's like
putting your feet in the pool.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets everything moving too. The funk.
Yeah, but that. Getting everybody on the same page and be present, and then to be okay with not knowing what's going to happen is kind of the big key. And when that happens, I feel like the rest of it's just like butter.
That to me is what I have found good conversations are through doing this. Yeah. Same thing, man. When you're in the moment in a conversation and like paying attention instead of thinking about what the fuck you're going to say next, and feeling the people that are around you, it's psychedelic. It's amazing.
Well, this has felt really good,
yeah.
Matt.
Oh,
yeah,
this felt really good to get into your head a little bit about your fears, your mortality, your talents, how you're utilizing them. It's a good reminder for me personally to, you know, again, creating is what we need to be doing right now instead of staying in a mourning state or a grieving state. We all need to do that also. We have a lot to mourn. We have a lot to grieve, but doing something also with that energy, not just
still
being
here.
in it.
Yeah, man.
And learning that balance again.
And the kids inspire me because, like, if I didn't
How old are the kids?
Well, my kids are 16 and 19.
Oh, okay, so they're a little bit older.
Yeah, but I have a number of other younger kids in my life, and I just feel like for them especially, I can't give up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
totally.
Our grandson, yeah.
And I've friends that have kind of given up. You know, that just are like, you know, it's like, I mean, if you're already experiencing depression, this is not an easy place to be. If you're, you know, all of a sudden you went through a divorce, or like you were alone, it's like some people don't have the skills to like use technology to meet people. It's just like they don't have any outlet or points of contact. It's like, it's really a desperate time, you know, and kids, like, you just got to give them hope that, you know, we're going to work this out. This is like a strange blip that you'll never forget, but it's not going to be like this forever.
Yeah, you guys we're going to be okay.
It's progressive.
Right.
It's not, we're not in the mire forever.
Right.
Well, you mentioned Kesey a couple of times, and I think you and I are cut from the same cloth in that was Kesey was before the Grateful Dead was my introduction to the psychedelic space. Like, I had a friend puddle me and put on the acid test, and the rest is history.
Funny enough, he wasn't my introduction to any of my psychedelic space. I was not
really
not interested then, really.
Okay.
It was like they were so crazy. I'm like, I'm just gonna hold down the drums here. Keep everybody
keep the beat.
Like, why is everybody so fucking crazy right now?
But what you said about the music taking over and your body moving, we've said it on the show a bunch of times. Like, going to a show is not just going to a show for me or us. That's a ritual. We've been doing it for time immemorial. We have been gathering around a fire and banging sticks together and whatever.
Yep. And
dancing and finding that space in music to move our bodies. And when we do that, something magic happens, and there's no name for it. What is it? It's music. I don't know what else to call that, but being the conductor of that thing, you said you get in a trance.
Yeah, definitely. I go out of body because I just try to be so present and not have expectations on my own. Like, the only expectations for me to perform are just to make sure everyone gets time to do their thing and to be heard, and that I get the audience involved, and that there's dynamics, and that we're not playing that Funkin' A all night long, and that within those parameters, everything else will kind of happen.
We need a minor jam in there somewhere.
Right, and it just feel like I hear something and it sends me off into another musical possibility, and I'm like, oh, let's kind of amplify that, and then I get people on board to kind of go that way, and it's just a whole nother journey.
That's channeling.
Yeah, so I'm just like trying to be present, which is, I at the end of a show, I'm like, what just happened?
How great is that? That's how I feel after every show. What just happened?
Well, when you go back and listen, do you find new things in it, or do you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to know that too. Do you go back and listen to your stuff afterwards?
I do. I don't like to necessarily just sit and listen.
Right.
I like to go for a run and listen, or go for a bike ride and listen, or go for a hike and listen. It's a really
active,
staying active. Yeah.
I like that aspect.
So the other piece of the EO puzzle that baffled me is, how do you decide who's coming together, man? Like, that's a big deal to put the right pieces on the board.
It's kind of a pain in the ass, and only I mean it's what makes it beautiful. It's one of the aspects that makes it really beautiful, and it was built in, like, full intent. Like, at the time when I was coming up with the idea, and I got to give my wife Julie, we came up with the idea together. I was experimenting with all kinds of stuff, and actually, to be honest, this is a solo singer-songwriter project that's gone awry. What? Yeah, I was like, I put out a solo record. I was producing people. I was like, I was trying to front my own band, and I was experimenting with especially with Zach Gill and Steve Adams and Lebo from ALO.
Yeah,
they were I was playing drums in ALO at the moment. They were kind of backing me up as a solo artist, and I was doing drum circles, and I was just experimenting with everything, and we had this great space to do it in Marin. And oh gosh, what was I going for? What was your question again? I got sidetracked on that.
Channeling and
oh gosh.
We got off
there goes the train. It's off the track.
No, we did get off track there. Now, I didn't know that was a total.
Everybody went blank.
Pause it and go back.
I can do that.
I'm so curious.
All right, we're back. Train's back on track.
So it's what makes it beautiful is the community. I didn't want to be in a band.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
I like after Jambé, I felt like, part of, like, Jambé didn't fully realize our potential. It's just like being in a band is fraught with difficulties. It's like, marriage is sometimes fraught with difficulties. You get lucky if you have a really good rapport with your partner, right? And
you do.
And it's just like, it takes work, and being in a band is like, it's like there's two other people. It was a 4-person band, and I just felt like, even just trying to schedule my life with other people in mind, other than my my partner. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to be a solo artist. And, that's why I say it's my solo singer-songwriter project gone awry, so but I still wanted to play with all my musician friends that I loved and that I knew. So that was kind of like the platform to bring them together. I had this, let's figure out a way to facilitate this jam session where they can just show up and we can make great music together and have a great time and then say goodbye. And, I could keep on mixing it up, So that's a beautiful thing. But so sometimes building a lineup, it's kind of random. I mean, sometimes somebody will call and say, hey, I'm available to do some shows this weekend in May. Are you doing anything? I'm like, well, and maybe there's somebody that's a well-known musician. We'll build a few shows around them, and their availability. Or I'm doing some shows out in, North Carolina. So we're going to call, who's in Asheville? Who can come down and who can we afford to bring people in? And, it's just kind of like everyone, we have this massive database of musicians that we've worked with and where they live and what they play. And, I work off of that all the time, just trying to think about who would be interesting. There's an alchemical aspect. So, but it can work many, many different ways. It's like adding that last person can be a completely right turn from where we thought we were going, but be just as interesting or better and just really cool, So, I try to make it diverse. I try to have it be a mixture of people that have done it and people that haven't done it. Mm-hmm. Although I've done a number of them where I've had the whole group where no one's ever done it and a lot of them have never met me before. Yeah. And that's kind of raw and fun. And, it's super fun and exciting and scary. And then other times, I wouldn't do that for something like this headcount soundtrack.
No, you need people with you on that one.
That's like your mad scientist. That's when you're over here
right.
Let's try this.
For the 20th anniversary, Zach Gill and I are working on a tune. So the first ever one orchestra 20 years ago, New Year's Eve, 2001, my appendix popped. So I missed it. I wasn't there. And Zach Gill basically facilitated the whole thing. There wasn't really a conductor yet, but it was like different people would take turns leading it. That was kind of how the concept was. We actually put the set list behind the band. That was the idea. But anyway, so I asked Zach if he would help write a theme song for Everyone Orchestra going into our 20th anniversary and something awesome to move forward. And I'm trying to think about ways that we can incorporate as many players that have been a part of EO in the past to record on it like a virtual thing.
Like a We Are the World.
Kind of like that, But then I thought, wow, it would be cool if we actually created a platform with anybody wanting to record a part and put it in there. Somehow they could record a part and upload it to this thing, and that we could automate some sort of mix of their performance with whoever is the core band. I mean, then I thought, wow, what if we could have 150 different performances on the song, and then people could choose the people that they want to hear perform it, and there could be maybe some the Humphreys guys playing really distorted, and you can break down to the Green Sky guys all acoustic. I don't know, just just possibilities are pretty endless.
Wow.
And my editing partner's this is gonna be a lot of files. I'm gonna have to get a new hard drive.
Wow, I could see it's almost like a video game or a choose your own adventure thing.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm sure it's possible. I don't know how to pull it off, but it's just I
have faith
just
in
taking the concept further and playing with it. That's kind of the idea. So I mean, it might just be me and some musicians from the very first Everyone Orchestra creating the song. We'll share it that way. But I like the idea of all the possibilities of that, even the randomness of letting anyone be a part of it. Because ultimately, I feel like Everyone Orchestra, it's a concept that other people could do. It's an agreement amongst musicians. People could take turns conducting, and it's a compositional performance game. And I really, it's I have my own way of doing it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was going to say.
But it's I hope, I do think that there's a lot of people that have had aha moments on improvisation that don't necessarily consider themselves jazz or improv players that have, within the first 10 or 5 minutes of doing an EO are oh, it's just about listening. It's about finding my part. It's about being present. There's all, I could do this. And I just feel like, I would love the idea that everyone could truly mean everyone. It just can't mean everyone all at once, but maybe on a project like that, it could be,
Well, you are a very, your energy in an EO show is very particular. And so, sure, anybody could maybe do it, but it wouldn't be the same groove.
Sure.
You've got something, it's your thing. It's
sure, but I mean, I think as a concept, like
Sure.
jazz bands, like college jazz bands, I think that it's like, it's kind of like role playing in music, and I think that if people took turns conducting, you really you get an interesting glimpse into what's going on, the interplay between musicians and what does and doesn't work.
LARPing in music.
So, I would just say for everybody, it'd be great to give a lot of different people opportunities to conduct a group of musicians and see what happens. And
well, it's powerful, man.
I'm not saying I want to let other people conduct everyone orchestra all the time or anything like that. But and we've
encouraging people to do their own thing.
Yeah, and we've had guest conductors, and I'm open to that. In the future, especially if I get to play drums. But I found that some key musicians when I was first starting to conduct that they were happily willing to participate with me, and then the guest conductors it was hit or miss. And they expressed some basically like, I'm here being really vulnerable as a musician to be on your stage, Matt. And, I don't trust the guest conductor. And I trust you.
Well, because they
and it's a little bit stressful when that element gets put in there, and and they're like, and I can't really, I've never had anything like that before, but it's like the reason why I show up is because I trust that you're gonna facilitate something that regardless if I know where it's gonna go, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And
it's like too unsafe for a guest.
It's too unsafe because it's already unsafe in a way. It's like there's a vulnerable. It's vulnerable.
Have you had it crash? Have you had a moment just a train wreck?
I mean, I've had a few musicians that had too much to drink. That was like, very distracting. I've had to pull a musician off stage before because they were just like, they were burning the house down.
Right.
And
how do you do that with finesse during a show, man?
Supporting good people around me. There's no real easy way. I don't feel like it hasn't crashed in a really, really long time.
Right.
And I think like the elements like, if the sound system is not good, people not being able to hear each other, like those are the hardest moments because if you can't hear each other, you really can't do it that well.
Right.
Sure.
So it's kind of like showing up to run the bases with a cast on, and so I think that the more I've been able to get people on the same page for when they step on stage, that's like the EO hook, and the more that people show up being willing to be vulnerable, knowing that the intent is to not know what's going to happen and just to do the best they can and work as a group, and keep their eyes on me and be ready to be humorous and spiritual all in the same moment. It just seems to work out.
Well, the other part of this that we didn't even discuss is bringing the audience into making the music, and that was maybe part of what affected me so much at the Pigeon Show. Was, I mean, I always kind of feel like we are involved in the improv that's happening just because we're in the room and we're having that musical conversation with the band. But when you're actually brought into making the music, that's something.
Getting the one of the tricks is when we come up with a chorus in the moment. Mm-hmm. And then the first time we sing it, and it's kind of a hook, and maybe we get some harmonies on it. And then we go off onto a jam, and then I reprise the chorus that we just created, and there's all of a sudden it's kind of familiar. And then I turn to the audience, and the second time around on that chorus, they start to sing it with us. And now we're all on the trick, and then we take the jam and we just go even further out, just way the fuck out, you
Right.
know, and just like go interstellar overdrive, whatever, as far as you can go, and then whip it back to that chorus to end it, and everybody's singing again. It's like, it's so great.
Yeah, man.
That's the moment. That's that moment that I'm like, that's how I'm harvesting. You know, it's like, there's somewhat of a formula, but there's a million ways to get to that. You know, and that's I'm just watching for that. And
Well, it's as simple as including everyone. This morning, within 30 seconds of me putting that on for Mel, I was out here by myself this morning listening to some of those again. Just get familiar, and you're anticipating, hey,
yeah,
like just something as simple as, hey,
Right.
you're anticipating it, and it keeps you involved in what's going on because you're waiting for your moment to be part of that everyone orchestra
Right.
now. Hey,
Yeah.
and it's really, really fun.
Well, ultimately, you know, I'm not just a conductor. I'm a facilitator. I'm a cheerleader. I'm a glorified volume knob.
Yeah, I like that.
I love it, man. You know, I thanked you at the beginning of all this, and just I want to thank you again, man. What you do is singular, and I appreciate it, Matt, a lot, and really did something special for me. So thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. It's great to talk with you guys.
Yeah,
It
this is
helps me realize what I'm doing. Sometimes, you know, I mean, you know, I'm just a guy in Northeast Portland, you know, got to go shopping. Oh God, the kids need food, you know, just
Right.
like, so I forget that I'm like on this mission, and it's not a get rich quick kind of scenario, you know, it's like, it's a passion thing, and I got to give it to my wife for, you know, we're a team, and I wouldn't be still doing it if she wasn't enthused about it, you know, and it brings so much, you know, a joyful community and opportunities in our life. It's like it brings other types of, you know, riches to us other than money, but it's like it means a lot to, you know, I feel like you reflected a lot of things back to me that I know are there and part of it, but sometimes I forget because,
Good.
you know, I'm not selling out a drive-in theater thing right now. It's hard to, you know, it's like I don't sell out the whatever. It's hard to get gigs sometimes, you know, and it's like it's still outside the box enough that, you know, I'm still scratching and clawing to like stay relevant, but it feels like going to the 20th. Like, I think we got this for 20 more years at least, you know? So
I know that feeling that you're talking about, that like, or I got to scratch and claw and like,
yeah.
But even for us, like 3 years in, I'm like, okay, I can relax. We have a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Just do your thing now and try and go further.
Yep.
Can chill out now.
Yep.
So thanks, man.
And now the sun is shining on me.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you do have a nice spot there.
So I'm going to go put on my Halloween costume. No, go ahead, Apple.
Well, I was just going to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and it's great. It was already exciting. Now it's even more exciting to see what you're going to do in the future
Yeah.
here, because you were definitely full of ideas, and thanks for sharing those. Some of the things you're thinking of, and man, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Nice.
Just
Well, hopefully
thank
you guys can tune in a little bit on election eve. You can just
Yes.
have
Oh,
like,
that's what I'm looking forward.
So,
That's the only
actually,
thing I'm looking
yes.
forward to on election day now, really.
Yeah, and for me, Matt, you were a constant reminder of the vulnerability piece and the creative part of what's imperative right now, to be vulnerable, because other people need to feel that so that they can, you know, it's that being there for each other. I know what you're going through, and to not sit on your creativity and you don't know how it's affecting people, or sometimes you do know, but you forgot, you know, you need a reminder. You need to remember, oh yeah, my passion does fuel other people. So if I don't do my passion, potentially other people are not being fueled, and you don't know what kind of fuel you're providing for someone else. So thank you for doing those normal intrinsic things to yourself and being a good steward of that, because it's helping to fuel other people. And that's what I hope after everyone listening, you know, to this interview can even just maybe spark that little idea that you didn't think, and moving forward and going forward. And, you know, thank God for good partnerships, and you and Julie for her continuing to support your creative side, because we all get to benefit, and I'm sure including her. You know, it sounds like you have a wonderful marriage, and you couldn't also seems like someone can be doing something as grand without such a good, strong back piece.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you to your family and for for sharing and for facilitating that. Yeah. So we all need it.
Thanks.
I would love to talk to you more about IGE. At another later date. I have an idea that I want to run by you sometime. So
IGE is almost a whole nother interview it's blossomed.
I
into
reached out to you a
insane-
long time ago about that, and you got back to me, and we were gonna talk.
I just saw that email actually. This is him.
Maybe we can have your wife next time if she's up for it. I don't know if she's into doing things like that together, but like her piece, because you said that she had kind of you guys caught up that idea together. So I understand how things like that work, you know what I mean? But so how does she support you, and how does she see it from her perspective?
We had a thing called Creation Nation, and it was going to be a nonprofit. I don't know if we ever actually went nonprofit all the way, but we were in the process of filing a nonprofit. And it's basically, it was a drumstick and a paintbrush was kind of our logo, right?
Okay.
And in the depot, which was our creative place in Marin, where Everyone Orchestra was born, basically I think it was every Tuesday night I would have a handful of musicians over, and she would have a handful of people to make art. And so we'd, I'd be jamming with people, and then she'd be facilitating this big art project. And really, I think Everyone Orchestra came out of those. That was, all those other things I was kind of listing all the background, but those moments were kind of like where we were like just experimenting with music and art and how can we bring community together and blah, blah, blah. So
that's
it's
awesome.
a team. Yeah.
Okay. That's, not what I expected, but that's great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well,
all right. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being on the porch. Thanks for joining the show, Matt.
Happy Halloween, man.
Cheers. Peace.
Cheers.
All right, so since JP's one of the newbies on stage, this is his moment to take us on a JP adventure. No
Hey, y'all, listen. We're just biding time. We're just biding time. Oh, we're just biding time for a little change to come. One more again, come on. Hey, we're just biding time. We're just biding time. Oh, yeah. We're just biding time for a little change to come. Yeah. Oh, I'm sick and tired, though. I'm seeing all the mess that left me to clean. I'm sick and tired to see all that stress up in my community. We gotta do something about it now. Gotta make a little change. Get up off the ground if we want stuff not to stay the same. It is time for us to do what we can do to shake the world for our babies and our grandchildren too. Oh, we're biding time. you feeling it?
Hell yeah, I'm feeling it.
Are you feeling the work you gotta put in? Yeah.
No, I am.
'Cause change don't come if you don't work. No, change don't come if you don't work. No, change don't come if you don't work hard. You gotta work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. All I'm looking for is just a little bit of change to get better. Hey, all I'm looking for is just a little bit of change to get better, 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 better. All I'm looking for is just a little bit of change, a little bit of change. That's what I'm saying. All I'm looking for is just a little bit of change, a little bit of change. Oh yeah, get better, better. to see the change we want to see.
Mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Well, hey friends, my name is Zach Lupetin. You may know me from the band Dust Bowl Revival, but I also host a music discovery podcast called The Show on the Road. For the last 5 seasons, I've been able to dive deep and have intimate chats with folks like the Lumineers, Ani DeFranco, Wolfpack, Keb Mo, Lake Street Dive, Bela Fleck, and more. So guess what? After 150 conversations with some of my favorite songwriters from around the world, we are bringing brand new episodes to the Osiris Network. New interviews and intimate acoustic performances will be coming at you this summer. And which episodes are coming next, you ask?
I am Zach Goody, the lead singer for the band Smash Mouth.
Our band is called Milky Chance. We are based in Berlin.
My name is David Shaw. I sing and write songs with my band, The Revivalists.
Trust me, these conversations go some wild places. So subscribe to The Show on the Road on Osiris, and we'll see you soon.